Today we'll be examining the life and legacy of Sir Arthur William Currie. Sir Arthur William Currie was born on December 5th, 1875, in Napperton, Ontario, near Strathroy. When he was young, he demonstrated a strength in literature and planned to pursue a career in law or medicine, but the death of his father when he was 15 made that financially impossible. Instead, he went on to become a teacher. After that initially failed, he tried to go back to high school to qualify for university, but again that failed too. He then took advantage of the financial boom in Pacific Canada because of the Transcontinental Railway, moving out to Victoria and becoming a teacher there. A year after he moved to Victoria, he joined the 5th Field Artillery Regiment as a part-time gunner. By 1900, he was promoted to corporal and then offered an officer's commission when they saw his potential. Because of this promotion, Currie left his teaching job to become an insurance salesman at a local firm. The reason is because as an officer in the Canadian militia, it was a very high-ranking job, needing to be very affluent with your personal finances, meaning that he could no longer be a teacher as it did not pay well. He took the job seriously as an officer, attending every course he could. Within 10 years, he was promoted 3 times, ultimately obtaining the rank of lieutenant colonel and then command of the regiment. After his 5-year term as commander of that regiment was completed, Currie was approached to command another regiment. Due to his financial troubles, he was reluctant to take command of this brand new unit, but instead he did. He was now the commander of the 50th Regiment, Gordon Highland. The 5th Field Artillery Regiment of the Royal Canadian Artillery was a very important part of Arthur Currie's life. His financial woes did not repair, leading to him embezzling money from the unit meant to purchase new uniforms. Fortunately for him, he was never caught. Once the Great War broke, he was offered command of Military District No. 11 of British Columbia, but turned it down ultimately. He was then offered command of the 2nd Infantry Brigade of the Canadian Expeditionary Force's 1st Canadian Division, and after some convincing, he accepted the job. He was then promoted to Brigadier General. After some time in training, Currie and his men were sent to France in February of 1915. After French forces broke on the front line, Currie proved his worth. He assessed the situation and calmly gave out orders establishing a fluid counter. After several days, Currie and the reinforcements he gathered of the British held the Germans back. Following the Second Battle of Ypres, he was promoted to Major General because of his incredible methods of defense. By this point, Currie played a key role in planning the set-piece assault for Canada and for the Allies. By late 1916, under the command of Sir Julian Byng, the 4 Canadian divisions joined as a Canadian Corps for the first time in their history. Knowing that Vimy Ridge was necessary to future success and Canada's success as an attacker, Byng ordered Currie to devise a plan to take the ridge. Currie used previous failures, especially the Somme, to learn what could be changed to better an attack and better their chances of winning. As well, he met with French officers to discuss their experiences at the Battle of Verdun. By meeting with both senior officers and junior officers, he was able to find discrepancies between each group's testimonies, the senior officers saying what their plan was, and the junior officers saying what actually did happen. As a result of these meetings, it led to massive changes for Currie. Currie reorganized the platoon and overall corps structure for the Canadian Corps and found the key to success. The keys were careful staff who planned properly, artillery preparation and support, the element of surprise, and good training in the infantry. Now understanding what needed to be done, Currie and his fellow Canadian generals devised a plan. Using the creeping barrage method, the Canadian Corps and the accompanying British division took Vimy Ridge in 3 days. Due to this success, Sir Julian Byng was promoted. As well, Currie was promoted to take his place, establishing the rank of Lieutenant General, and was commander of the Canadian Corps. As the war began to draw to a close, Currie maintained the Corps' identity and led them into the 100 Days Offensive. In December 1918, Currie wrote the Canadian War Narrative section. This document was meant to maintain some control over how Canada's involvement in the 100 Days Offensive may be represented in the media and to the public. In 1919, upon his return to Canada, he was promoted to general, the highest rank in the Canadian military. Currie intended to use this position to reform the system, but budget cuts and significant opposition from military bureaucracy stopped him. He retired from the military short after this, and in 1920 became the principal at McGill University. Currie died on November 3rd, 1933, from complications with pneumonia. Currie's legacy was Vimy Ridge, and everything it stood for. The battle was the first time that all Canadian divisions fought together. It was a source for national pride. This type of pride was never present in Canada before this, because people never identified as Canadians. They were Ontarians, Quebecers, Manitobans, but never Canadians. They just lived in Canada. Currie gave them that ability to become patriotic. By winning, he proved to the Allies and his men that Canadians were the best in the business when it came to winning. They were the best because they made an impossible task possible, and in days rather than years and months that it took for French and British forces to even try to take the ridge. Ernest Renan said that nations are made by doing great things together. This is what happened in France almost 102 years ago. By doing a great thing together, Canada as an identity was born, and it was born because of Arthur Currie.